In ancient Greece, more than 2,000 years ago, there lived a young man who believed his life was finally complete. He had money, he had status, he had security, everything most people spend their entire lives chasing. His name was Cleanthes. He wasn't born rich, he wasn't born powerful. He worked every night carrying water just to survive. And yet one day, after years of sacrifice, his life finally seemed stable, until it wasn't. One single accident, one unexpected turn of fate, one moment beyond his control, and everything collapsed. The business he depended on failed. The people he trusted disappeared. The future he imagined vanished overnight. In a matter of days, he went from feeling safe to feeling lost. Imagine that happening to you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything you built is gone. No warning, no explanation, no mercy. How would you react? Would you panic? Would you feel betrayed by life? Would you fall into anger, into depression, into regret? Most people would, but Cleanthes didn't. Instead of asking, "Why me?" he asked something different. What can I still control? That single question changed the direction of his entire life. Cleanthes became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers in history, not because life was easy, but because he learned how to remain unbreakable when life was cruel. And today, his lesson matters more than ever. We live in an age of comfort. Food arrives in minutes, information arrives in seconds, validation arrives with a click. Yet anxiety is everywhere. Depression is rising. Loneliness is spreading. How is that possible? How can people who have so much feel so empty? The Stoics understood this paradox 2,000 years ago. They knew that suffering doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from how we interpret what happens, from the stories we tell ourselves, from the meaning we attach to events. Two people can experience the same failure. One becomes stronger, the other becomes broken. The difference is mindset. Today, many people think Stoicism means being cold, emotionless, heartless. They imagine Stoics as people who never feel pain, who never cry, who never struggle. That's wrong. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about feeling deeply without being controlled. Feeling anger without becoming violent. Feeling sadness without becoming hopeless. Feeling fear without becoming paralyzed. Stoics didn't reject emotions, they rejected slavery to emotions. Look around. Everyone is stressed. About money, about relationships, about status, about the future. We live in permanent uncertainty, and uncertainty terrifies the human mind. We want guarantees. We want control. We want safety. But life offers none of that. Stoicism doesn't promise comfort, it promises clarity. It teaches you how to stand firm when everything shakes. It teaches you how to remain calm inside chaos. It teaches you how to build an inner fortress no one can destroy. The Stoics practiced something radical. They expected problems. Not pessimistically, realistically. They woke up knowing, today something will go wrong. Someone will disappoint me. Something will fail. Something will hurt. And that's okay, because I am prepared. Imagine two people. One expects perfection, the other expects difficulty. Who suffers more? Always the first. Stoicism teaches you to rehearse hardship. So when it arrives, it feels familiar, not shocking, not devastating, just another challenge. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is voluntary discomfort. Choosing hardship before hardship chooses you. Cold showers, simple food, minimal possessions, physical discipline. Not because pain is good, but because resilience is priceless. When you learn that you can survive without comfort, comfort stops controlling you. You become free, free from addiction, free from dependency, free from fear of loss. Most people build happiness on things: money, followers, relationships, status. But everything external is temporary. Money disappears, people leave, trends change. If your happiness depends on unstable things, your happiness will always be unstable. The Stoics knew this. They placed their peace inside themselves, in character, in discipline, in integrity, things no one can steal. This is the foundation of Stoicism. There are two categories in life: things you control and things you don't. Your effort, your attitude, your choices, you control those. Other people's opinions, the economy, luck, fate, you don't. Suffering begins when you confuse the two, when you try to control what cannot be controlled and neglect what can. Master this principle and your life changes. When you truly understand the dichotomy of control, something powerful happens. You stop wasting energy. You stop arguing with reality. You stop fighting storms you cannot stop. And you start building strength where it matters, inside. Most people exhaust themselves trying to manage outcomes, but Stoics focus on managing effort. They know that excellence is found in process, not in guarantees. Today, success is measured in numbers, views, likes, followers, money. But none of these reflect true value. You can have millions of followers and feel empty. You can have wealth and feel lost. You can have fame and feel alone. Stoics judge themselves differently. They ask, did I act with integrity? Did I give my best effort? Did I improve today? If the answer is yes, the day was a success. No algorithm needed. Imagine a young man working relentlessly on his dream. He trains, he studies, he sacrifices for years. And one day, he fails. Rejected, ignored, overlooked. Most people quit here. They see failure as proof that they are not enough. Stoics see failure as information, feedback, direction, not judgment. They adjust, they persist, they evolve, and eventually they win. Not because luck favored them, but because discipline forged them. Stoicism rests on 4 pillars: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom is knowing what matters. It is clarity. It is perspective. It is understanding that short-term pleasure often destroys long-term peace. Courage is persistence, showing up when motivation disappears, standing firm when fear whispers, choosing effort over excuses. Temperance is moderation, self-control, knowing when enough is enough, not being ruled by impulses, not needing excess, being satisfied with simplicity. Justice is integrity, doing the right thing even when no one is watching, treating others with respect, building a life you can be proud of. These 4 virtues are the architecture of an unbreakable mind. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, unjustly, humiliated, isolated, deprived. He could have become bitter, cruel, vengeful. He didn't. Instead, he studied philosophy, including Stoic teachings. He learned that hatred only extends suffering. When he was released, he chose reconciliation, peace, unity. That is Stoicism in action. Strength without cruelty, power without arrogance, victory without vengeance. Modern psychology confirms what Stoics discovered long ago. Rational emotive behavioral therapy teaches that emotions come from beliefs, not events. Change beliefs, change life. Logotherapy teaches that meaning creates resilience. People who have purpose survive anything. Viktor Frankl learned this in concentration camps. When everything is taken, only meaning remains. And meaning is a choice. Your brain is not fixed. It adapts. It rewires. Every thought you repeat becomes a habit. Every habit becomes identity. Stoicism teaches mental hygiene. Question your thoughts. Challenge negativity. Replace weakness with discipline. Replace excuses with responsibility. Replace fear with preparation. Over time, your mind becomes an ally, not an enemy. One of the hardest lessons: work hard, care deeply, let go completely. Do your best, then release the result. Outcomes are not yours. Effort is. This is freedom. No anxiety, no obsession, no desperation, just calm focus. The Stoics believed true wealth is inner stability. When you master yourself, insults lose power, failure loses terror, loss loses control. You become untouchable, not because nothing hurts, but because nothing destroys you. Every day ask yourself, what did I do well? What did I do poorly? How can I improve? Visualize challenges, prepare emotionally, train discipline, read wisdom, reflect often, progress slowly. Consistency beats intensity. Always. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world. Roman emperor, unlimited authority. And yet, he wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Even at the top, he chose humility. Even with power, he chose restraint. Even with luxury, he chose simplicity. That is mastery. Life will test you. It will disappoint you. It will hurt you. That is unavoidable. Suffering is optional. Stoicism gives you the tools to transform chaos into clarity, pain into wisdom, loss into growth, fear into strength. You don't control the storm. You control the ship. And if the ship sinks, you can still die with peace, knowing you lived with courage, with discipline, with purpose. Because remember, everything has an end, but character lasts forever.